name is High Chief Charles EKE. I live in Plainfield, the city of Plainfield actually. And in the days of 1990s to 2015, I was one of the guys that, there were only 2 computer schools then. So mine was the second largest computer school at that time, called Infotech Systems, in which we produced over 500 engineers all over the state of New Jersey. Then I also involved in politics, as it may be called. But I call it community service in the city of Plainfield. As a councilman in 2012, a citywide councilman in 2012. And then the rest is the history. And I participated actively, and as a founding member, or the founder, African for Film Murphy, that helped the current election of the current governor. So that's a little bit about myself. But in terms of political ideologies in Nigeria, as you know, Nigeria is over close to over 300 million people. So it's the largest black population in Africa, even on earth. But the problem is that it's not fully maximized in using the potentials of the citizens. And the reason being that majority of them are abroad, which we'll get into how diasporas can participate. We'll get into that point. But currently now, as you know, we're heading towards an election in Nigeria, which will bring in the new administration in May 29th, 2019. So there's a lot of stampede from the presidency to governorship. Some states have over 55 contestants. So the only way is for all of us to, first of all, put Nigeria in prayers, and then participate by helping to shape how things are done in Nigeria. And having said that, it is not an easy breakthrough, because as one of them put it, it says to me, when some of you ran to US or to Canada or to UK, we remained in Nigeria. That's what somebody told me. So when you guys come, you're gonna go to the back of the line. I don't think that's true. I think people should be able to bring in the ideologies, participate honestly, and then help to develop the country. So, but this issue of for you to become a president, you have to get a certain amount of states, and most of those states are in the northern states. So, which means it has to take somebody who can build a bridge in order to be able to capture some of those states during elections. So, and mostly the Nigerian elections or politics has been transactional politics. Those days are past. We must embrace a progressive agenda, just in case United States, as you know, as you've heard, a 28-year-old lady was able to beat somebody that's going to the 10th times in that position, who is even older than her mom. That tells you that the world is waking up to progressive politics. And so I would say that that will be a segue into how does the diasporas get involved. I believe that for Nigeria to be better, it must take Nigerians to solve Nigerian problem. We can get ideas from our friends in foreign countries. As some of us are here now, we have a lot of friends. We can get ideas from them, but our problem must be solved by us. That is, including those in diaspora. The only problem that we have is that we have not have a very planned and coordinated diaspora effort. We thought that in 2000, September to be precise, September 10th, 2000, when Obasanjo came in and called I think we were close about maybe 500 in that room in Atlanta, to begin to chart a course to come up with a diaspora vehicle. That's how the needle was born. And I was one of the people that were called in Atlanta by the then President Olusegun Obasanjo in 2000. But that has been derailed. The idea was to use it as a vehicle in some of these diaspora involvements, not only remitting money, not only sending stuff home, but to participate in the political process. That's what that organization should have done. But it has drifted a little bit away from the vision. So now, in order for all of us to participate, there has to be a coordinated effort. That is those in diaspora. And some of the problem has been people in diaspora sometimes fears changes. Some needs, they have kids in school, they can't take off, they can't go and face uncertainty in Nigeria, and there's no, there's nothing created to give them this soft landing. And that has created some problems. I remember when the presidency, then Olusegun Obasanjo, wanted to bring the diasporas. They come up with the idea of diaspora village. They come up with so many ideas. And that would have been able to help to integrate the diasporas into the political process. But because that did not happen, now it becomes an individual effort. So having said that, the diasporas must seriously participate. There has been people that left here, went back home, got involved, got elected, and made some changes. There's a lot of them that were part of us here, either from New Jersey or New York, or some from Texas, that took the courage, went back home, got involved, participated, got elected, and then were able to make some changes. So we need more of those to be able to do that. And for us to do that, we must also help them when they come to us. There are some of them now that are running for state assembly, federal house, senate, gubernatorial, presidential. A lot of them here in state of New Jersey. Some of them are making this effort. We must help them, however we can, to collectively work with them and send them. You can send a candidate with a mandate if you collectively work with them. Everybody needs somebody to work with. It is not easy to do it alone. It is something that can be done as an individual, as collective process. I believe in the strength in collections of all the participants, and also that will help us to bring our agenda forward. I understand that they're setting up a diaspora commission that has been in process for God knows how long, and I'm sure it will still stay in perpetual process. I know there's a diaspora bond. How long has that been in process? All these things are things that could get the diasporans back to participate, but they have never seen the end of the day. It's been in process. Some have been in committee for as long as they've been inception. So, and if you look at it, you find it that because there's no collective energy, these people back home probably don't pay my attention to it. Another case in point is the diaspora village, the land allocations. They have put this thing been in perpetual litigations till this day. So it does not give the diasporans courage, but you don't wait for someone to give you courage. You generate your own courage. You get up, organize, and then move on. But it has to be something that you can logistically plan with collective process. A lot can be achieved. But if it's something anybody wants to do individually, I don't think you could get to mileages, but I'm not sure how far you can go. In Igbo language, there says which means the more, the merrier, and the better. And as you know, there's a lot of them now that are running for governorship, especially in Imo State, from the former deputy speaker, I might say the former speaker, because he was also a speaker. That was his last portfolio before ended his terms in the Federal House of Assembly. As you know, in Imo State, there are close to about 55 or more of them contesting for one spot, the governorship. The question is, there's only one space in the governor's mansion, but you have 55 of them vying for those positions. As you know, the three front runners, or the three major parties there, PDP, APC, and APGA. But it is very possible that we must look at the pedigrees, look at those that are running, not necessarily the party. We must, as you know, Nigeria votes for the party, while here we vote for individuals. So, but we must look at those individuals running under those parties. Look at their manifesto, look at their credentials, look at what they have done. How did they earn the money? What have they done to the citizens? Were they employers of labor? Have they done something to benefit the citizens? What can they do if they get into the governor's, into what they call the Douglas House? So having said that, I think I would suggest to those in diaspora to critically examine all those that are running. As someone would say, if you have not created employment before, you may not know how to create it now. So, and I don't think that the governor's house in Imo State is a camp for training. We expect whoever are coming there must have been able to create jobs, must have been in existence for a very long time, must be very known, is ready to serve, to roll his sleeve and serve. There are some people that are running, but they're running because they want to be called governors, but they may not be there when the people need them. Some of them haven't even created one iota of employment. They have the opportunity to create it. But the question is, if they had opportunity then to create employment and they never did, can they create it now when they will go in there and begin to plan for their re-election? So that's why I'm saying that the governor's house is not a training camp. We expect whoever is coming there. Like I came from entrepreneurship, as you've known, in New Jersey. I created employment. I trained a lot of people. I employed over 20-something, about 21 of them in 93, 96, going up to 2013. And also empowered people to go out there and be able to get employed and feed their family. So that's what we are asking. And there are, among those running in Imo State, there are maybe one, I would probably say one of them, that has created employment for over 30 years and has sustained employment and continue to create employment. So that shows us that it is very possible that if that person is given a resources, he will create more employment. And the idea is, what can someone present to the citizen of Imo State that can help us rebuild Imo State? Because Imo State needs to be rebuilt. And the question is, who will go? Who will go and rebuild this state? And it's not somebody who will get into the state house and begin to learn his way through. It has to be someone that is ready to go on day one. And as you guys have seen over this weekend, so I am saying that once you elect a competent manager, then he'll be able to manage the state. But if we go back to the same business as usual, we'll be in the same predicament as usual. Because if you continue to do one thing, you continue to get the same result. The only way to get different results is to do different things. Different things brings different results. The same thing brings some result. So we have to look for a competent manager who has managed business, created employment. That's what the youth needs. And we in diaspora must bring our knowledge to help. And that could be in vocational training. That's what they need right now. Some of them come out of universities, they can't get a job. They could go through vocational training and be able to position themselves in terms of jobs. There are healthcare issues. There's educational outreach that we can do in between across the oceans to begin to give them the entrepreneurship. There are some universities that I have worked with that are willing and ready to have these kids come down here, learn entrepreneurship, go back home with seed money and start a baby company. We must foster startup companies. There's no governor in any part of Nigeria that have started to support or help startup companies. That means we need to look at these university kids and then be able to help them. I know someone who can say, oh, there's an industrial bank that's working with the SMEs. The way they did the loan or the funding is very difficult for some of these young entrepreneurs to partake. So we need to be able to come up to an idea of getting all the startups and then help those startups. Some people call them baby companies. There's a lot of them. That's what is happening in Germany. Germany is doing it. China is doing it. US will soon be doing it. They're doing it, but it's not in the large scale. New Jersey will be partaking in a startup. We can do startup conferences. There's a lot of them that we can do. I'm currently working with some group of folks from Philadelphia to come up on these startups and how to bring them. Remember, if the wheel is there, there's no need to reinvent it. You just have to use the wheel, customize it to what you need. So I remember during the past, during the administration of Hakim or Udonwa, I did suggest that the diasporans can be used as respective ambassadors. You don't have to pay them, because once you begin to speak about that, the first thing that goes into the government, oh, now I'm going to have to pay them. No, you can create what is called the diaspora ambassadors and give them charge of looking at some of these baby companies or startups that can be replicated back in Nigeria. And this is what is making companies. Remember, Malaysia was the third world. I'm sure you must have about it. But how did Malaysia come out of third world? They used the diasporas they have. India did the same. They used their diasporas. Every country used the diasporas except Nigeria. So we will begin to change the narratives. We must be ready to get involved. Maybe that's one of the things that's not been done. So there has to be a discussion over a bottle of a beer. How do we get this knowledge, which I called brain gain as against brain lost, and begin to use these things as other countries have done? That can help us politically. That can help us growth-wise. That can help us industrialize. That can help so many things. So long as there's an understanding and there is an entrance for participation. Right now it looks like it's all closed and there's no way for entrance. So for those that are going to be voting, if you have anybody back home, what I've suggested that they should do is to make sure they have their PVC. And then some of them may not be able to look at the manifestos of these candidates, but it is our job here to advise those at home on a very credible candidate to vote for. And that will help. And that's the way that we can begin to partake in this process. We must be involved. You don't have to be involved by relocating. You can be involved from here. If you're sending people money at home, you can tell them, say, look at this candidate, look at this candidate. That could help. But the diasporans must begin to get involved. Not necessarily running for an office, but shaping the process, shaping the candidate, enlightening the public. You can do it in a collective process. You can do it by radio announcement. You can do so many other processes if you support a particular candidate. But it must be devoid of bad intentions. It must be on the premises of enlightening the public and at the same time supporting a credible candidate. But I'm saying that I will endorse a candidate that has created employment, that have shown consistencies in helping in Imo State, but created his employment in Imo State. And I think maybe one or two that's done that. So having said that, those are some of the things that I may, if I'm giving an advice, besides my political savviness, which most of you in New Jersey have known. My degree is in computer science, but I've loved politics since I got involved in politics since 1989. I've been involved with the Democrat, and I've been a participating stakeholder in the city that I live in, and also now in the state, in Democratic Party. Well, in terms of what you guys are doing in Gossip TV and Ice Magazine, Gossip TV and Civic Entertainment, I think you are doing a very great job in bringing the issues and bringing the people to discuss on the issues. This is not there before. I think this is a very good instrument that can help the community bring out ideas that may help foster development back home where we come from. So I am asking Gossip TV and Civic Entertainment and then the Ice Magazine to continue doing a very great job in the community, but also include some of the Americans who may also give us some ideas. But our problem will be solved by us. We can get ideas from people. And Gossip TV and Ice Magazine is a very good start. And I wish that this will continue and more people will get involved into it. And also those back home should listen and then pick up some ideas. If there's anybody that they want to reach, they can reach. It can reach you guys, because now you have a pool of knowledge from these individuals. It's a good thing. Gossip TV, Ice and Ice Magazine and the Gossip TV and Entertainment is a very great thing. So I applaud them. I see you.